Monkey D. Luffy, the future Pirate King, versus the new Admiral, Kobe. Hi everyone, Flying Panda. In chapter 901, Big News Morgan believes that the future Pirate King will be from the worst generation. I don't know about you, but that got me really excited. He has developed strong respect for Luffy as he cheered Luffy on in escaping from the Big Mom Pirates and considered him a prime candidate among the worst generations to become the next Pirate King. Morgan is in charge of the World Economic Journal, giving him control over the newspapers and the information it gives to people. Don't be surprised to see that the next newspaper article would say, Straw Hat Luffy, the next Pirate King. There were rumors for years that the new Pirate King would be from that worst generation, but I will say my thoughts about that during the video. But everything points to Luffy being the next Pirate King, and it was made even more clear when Luffy and Katakuri dealt their final blows, the victor. It at first appears that Katakuri has won the fight since he stands out first, and Luffy's punch seems to not reach him, but he soon falls and Luffy is revealed to be the winner. But when Luffy gets out of the large crater Katakuri's strike has put him into, Katakuri asks, "One day, will you come to defeat Big Mom?" Luffy responds with, "You bet, I'm gonna be the Pirate King." Katakuri's odd response, "Guess you can really see the future," and he falls. Katakuri's major power in the series is his observational haki, which allow him to see a few seconds into the future. So whether or not this is an actual prediction or resignation of respect to Luffy's victory, this is certainly a standout statement from such a powerful warrior. But I think the final war will come after Luffy finds the One Piece and finds out the history of the world. Luffy won't be named Pirate King until he is fighting in the final war against the next Pirate King, who will be Blackbeard. Before you dislike me, hear me out first. If you think about Blackbeard during the story, he was always very patient. He is not against taking risks, but he rather do it so when they are at the lowest possible. In our words, he always wants the perfect moment to make his movements. I also think that it's clear that he wants to be the next Pirate King. He is at his best because of two things. One, he has just acquired a lot of new weapons from his attack against the Revolutionary Army. Second, most likely Kuzan has joined his crew. Jolly Rogers in One Piece are notorious for either representing the appearance of their captains or being the embodiment of something they absolutely desire or emphasize. For Blackbeard, the appearance of his flag is a painful reminiscence of Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of the underworld in Greek mythology. There is no three-headed deity that comes even remotely close to how recognizable and associated a symbol like this is with Cerberus. There are a couple of things that immediately come to mind regarding Blackbeard's association with Cerberus. 1. Being the guard of the underworld. Blackbeard is currently a major player in this underworld, hence why Kuzan joined him. 2. The connections to Hades, being the overseer of all these dead and who pass on. It's a notorious gloomy place, and Blackbeard's association with the dark fruit fits perfectly in line with how miserable that goes with the stigma of the underworld, the place where all the dead goes. 3. The uniqueness that Blackbeard could take another Devil Fruit from someone. It is our belief that the Darkness Fruit enables the user to actually wield 3 Devil Fruits instead of 2. Pluton is the Roman name of Hades, again with obvious connection. It's our belief that Blackbeard was able to find Pluton, stash it away, and now he's in the process of becoming the king of pirates, so he can locate the One Piece. As it pertains to his Devil Fruit, it is our belief that he purposely sought to join Whitebeard's crew, only to get the Darkness Fruit, but to learn of his weakness and find an opportunity to kill him. In order to become the true Pirate King, Blackbeard would need to kill the current de facto Pirate King, Whitebeard, and also overthrow the military. Teach found out what the One Piece was and how destructive it would cause would overthrow the celestial dragons and world government. We will talk about that in another video with more connections. From the very first time we were introduced to Blackbeard, Oda sets up their character to be equals. but opposites. At first, this is done over the trivial cherry pie and soda. What Blackbeard loves, Luffy finds repulsive, and vice versa. During the course of the story, it emphasizes that Blackbeard is a planner who takes his time to figure out the best way to take down any opponent and reach his dreams. Luffy is the complete opposite, relying mostly on instinct and trusting his plans to others. Where Luffy brings joy, Blackbeard brings destruction. However, we come to find out very early on that Blackbeard and Luffy do share something fundamentally between the two of them. Both share some fundamental ideology. Blackbeard is a dreamer. His dream is to become king of the pirates and I suspect turn the world upside down. When Luffy decides not to fight Bellamy in the bar, Blackbeard understands his reasoning perfectly. At this point, even Nami is confused as to why Luffy made the decision to stand down. Blackbeard's response to Whitebeard's words on him not being the man Roger was looking for makes me believe that Blackbeard has at least some knowledge of the Will of D. Blackbeard is a big believer in fate, which is something the manga has emphasized surrounding those who carry this will. Blackbeard already knows he has to defeat Shanks in order to obtain his dream. Luffy does as well, but the difference is Luffy would never kill Shanks, who just want a duel to prove that he surpassed him in strength. Blackbeard is obviously out for blood. Blackbeard doesn't strike me as the type who wants to go looking for One Piece, but he strikes me as someone who wants to steal it from the person who gets One Piece. I think this fits perfectly in line with his character. Chasing One Piece is a lot of work, and he could easily be devoting his time and energy elsewhere. Let someone else go through the hassle of finding it. He'll just steal it later, and right there, that is why I believe Blackbeard will be Luffy's final opponent. See, I don't think it's going to come down to Luffy facing up against someone who has a grudge against, though that does factor into it. I believe their fight is specifically going to be over the Will of D. And why not Akainu as the final villain? If it helps, I do believe that Luffy will have a duel with Akainu during the Great War that will happen once One Piece is discovered. In the midst of the chaos, however, I see Luffy stopping his battle with the Fleet Admiral and entrusting his defeat to someone who's just as much motivated, which would be Sabo. To defeat Akainu with Ace's power would be some poetic justice and also serve as a closure for Sabo. So Luffy will be the Pirate King, but after he defeats the other Pirate King, Blackbeard. But pirate versus pirate is bound to happen, but what about pirate versus marine? Initially I thought it would be Smoker, but after all the things that happen, it's leaning to more Smoker for Nakama than Smoker for final enemy. So who would be Luffy's GARP in the marines? I believe the final marine enemy for Luffy would be no other than Kobe. It would be a fitting scenario if Kobe was the last person Luffy would have to overcome. The last man standing before him and the title of the Pirate King. But there are several ways this could happen. To start with, I must stress that Kobe won't be a villain of some kind, at least not in an evil serious way. They won't fight because they have different morals, but just because they follow two different paths to express them. That ultimately led to a clash. What I do deem as possible is for Luffy vs Kobe's fight to happen after the main battles have happened and the dust has settled. What I mean is that probably the title of the Pirate King would have been decided with Luffy. Of course, being the chosen one, also the whole story about the void history will have been revealed with the Marines and the world government changing because of that. After all, those main occurrences of the story will finish, and just when we believe that everything has ended, Kobe will appear as the last antagonist. The man who started as a friend, the man who was able to follow his dream because Luffy set him free. Luffy versus Kobe, or Pirate King versus Fleet Admiral. The ultimate clash will happen. The most emotional fight of the whole series. Wow, 901 hype was amazing. I loved how Morgan talked about the future Pirate King is going to be from the worst generation, so I had to make this video. Anyways, leave a comments down below what you thought. Please click like, and if you haven't, please subscribe. to Flying Panda.